introduce the second speaker, Dr. Ramasamy.
Madam, good morning, madam.
Our next resource person is Dr. Ramasamy, the much sought after seasoned librarian from M.V. Muttaya Government Arts College for Women, Dindigul. This gold medalist has shaped the destiny of many students, both in schools and colleges in Kerala, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. He has, to his credit, 10 academic blogs with over 40 lakh followers, has published 3 books, presented 84 papers both in national and international journals, and has organized 3 state-level seminars, 1 national webinar, and an international seminar. Further, he has also prepared course material for Sri Lanka Open University, has worked as course coordinator for online courses, and has given 10 radio talks. He has also worked as editorial board member, associate editor, and is also the proud recipient of the KVS Regional Incentive Award. Also, he is the member of SALIS, ILA, KLA, and ASLIC. He has donned several mantles both in the academic and the non-academic fields. And his interests include blogs, institutional repositories, metric studies, user studies, and open source softwares. On behalf of all the participants, I extend to you a very warm welcome, sir. Once again, I welcome all the participants.
Madam, good morning, madam.
Now, I call upon Dr. Ramasamy, the engaging speaker, to take over.
Madam, good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir.
My voice is audible, madam?
Yes, sir, it's audible.
Okay. Are you able to see my PPT, madam? Madam, என்னோட PPT தெரியுதுங்களா?
1 minute, sir.
Yes, sir. தெரியுது, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Madam, shall we begin?
Yes, sir.
Yes. The most respected principal in the management of Holy Cross College, Nagarkoil, the most beloved conveners and the organizing secretary of this webinar, and faculty members of the college, and all other participants, those who are drawn from different parts of this country, a very, very pleasant and a joyful morning to each and every one of you. It gives me immense pleasure to be a part of this webinar, which is being held on citation databases, performance metrics, and Zotero Reference Manager. At the outset, let me take this opportunity to thank the librarian madam for having given me this wonderful opportunity of meeting you all in this online platform. Let me begin my presentation. See, dear friends, these days, research is gaining a lot of importance. A couple of years before, research was confined to the walls of only the so-called universities and technical institutions, of course, including research institutions. But nowadays, research has been the most sought after initiative of any higher education institution, whether it is a college library or a polytechnic college or engineering college, any institution you take, research is gaining a lot of momentum. And the faculty members, they started publishing a lot of papers. Why? Maybe because of NAAC accreditation or NARF ranking or NBA ranking or world rankings. So all these rankings have made research an important component So in order to score better for your institution, the faculty members have to obviously publish materials. And in some cases, when you are moving from one stage to another stage in your career, you need to have a specific quantum of API score, wherein your research contributions matter. So those who like to progress in their career, or even those who are trying for new appointments, and the scholars, those who are doing MPhil or PhD, so they have to submit 1 or 2 research papers in leading journals. Or there may be some people, those who got basic interest to do research and publish papers. So whatever may be the reason, we are all inclined to publish papers. We would like to do either small kind of research or in a grand manner, some kind of research projects. And we would like to publish all these research papers, research outputs. Why? So everybody is publishing papers. And how do we judge the people, those who are publishing? Maybe the faculty members or researchers. A couple of years before, we talked about productivity count. That means how many papers are published by a particular individual. If a particular faculty member or a scientist has published 100 papers, we can say that he is a great scientist. He is great in this research field. So based on the frequency of his publications, he was ranked or she was ranked. There was one stage. And after some time, we started talking about the impact of research publications. Fine, you publish papers in various journals, but what is the impact of your research output? That means how many people, how many researchers have started making use of your content, your ideas, your methods, your findings. So that comes the importance of citations. We say citation count. So based on citation count, we started measuring the worthiness of individuals. And of late, though citation has become the only one, as on today, the only one possibly available medium for evaluating the research performance of an individual or a journal or a department or an institution or a country, of late, even we have got a lot of altmetrics tools, which we'll see later. Fine. For example, you assume that you are writing a research paper, whatever may be the topic. The first thing is you'll be writing an introduction part wherein you will talk about the historical background, the evolution, or the background literature you have to give. So background literature you cannot give on yourself. You need to borrow the ideas of others. For example, you take this particular screen, see Taylor and Kirwan. See, the person who has written this particular paper has borrowed the ideas of, contents of, findings of Taylor and Kirwan, Fairley, Segal, Sarfian, Jansen. So we need to borrow the ideas of many other previous researchers and include their ideas, their findings, their methodologies in your introduction part. Fine. And the second most important part of any research work, writing reviews. See, when you're writing reviews, by default, you have to look into what kinds of researchers were already done in your chosen field. If you're doing research on ovarian cancer, then you have to identify what kinds of researchers were already done in ovarian cancer. Who are the researchers leading in the field of ovarian cancer? What are the methods they followed? What are their findings? What are the conclusions? What are suggestions given by previous researchers? So when you're writing your review section, you need to mention the persons from whom you have borrowed the contents. So you need to make a note of all the authors whose papers are reviewed by you in your review section. Fine. Here also, you just mention the name of the author, year, and mention what the idea you have taken from that particular author or the researcher. Sometimes a same idea may be given by a set of authors. For example, here 4 or 5 research papers, they all have found out a common finding. So you can mention the finding in the bracket. You can include the names of all the authors, those who have found the same thing. Fine. So the review section, you need to take the contents of others and you have to make a mention of their names and year of publication. Then the most important part of any research work, especially when you take up your PhD work or PDF, discussion section is very, very important. So what is this section? In this section, we would like to find out to what extent my findings are in lining with other findings. Whether my findings are agree with the findings of others or my findings are against the findings of others. We just want to say that my findings and Ramasami's findings both are same. Or you should say that my findings are contrasting or they are against the findings of Ramasami. So that kind of discussion you should have. So for example, here you can see here, our results are similar to, our results are consistent with. So they also have got same findings of what I found. Fine. Otherwise, you see here, unlike previous studies, in contrast to other studies, even you can find out in what way your research findings are not agreeing with the findings of others. For both the purposes, you need to take the content of others. Fine. Once you have mentioned the body of the text, at the end of your research paper, you should prepare a list of references. For example, if you are preparing the list of references in Vancouver style, then you have to arrange them in that numbering order. Whatever number you have given in the body of the text, the same order you have to arrange all the references. For example, if you are following APA style or Harvard style, then all the references are to be arranged in the alphabetical order of the authors. Fine. So we have done two things. One is either in the introduction section or in the review section or in the discussion section, we have borrowed the ideas of others, and we have in the body of the text, we have either included the name of the author along with year of publication, or we are just like that we have mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4. Under the end of the paper, we have given full particulars about the references, whatever you use for your research purpose. Fine. And that is what the citation is all about. So citation is nothing but a reference to a published or unpublished source. And usually citation is given kind of an abbreviated form. As I told you, name of the author with year of publication, or only the name of the author superscripted with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. And these abbreviations are given in the body of the research work to show that we have your research finding, your research paper has got some kind of connection with the references what you are quoting in your research paper. Fine. For example, you are writing a research paper, you have taken references from some 10 articles, and all the 10 articles are cited in the body of the text and also at the end of the research paper called references. Fine. That means that all those 10 papers which are listed under references, all those papers will get one citation. That means if you are writing a paper, if somebody else is reading your paper, somebody else is taking something from your paper and they are adding your content as a part and parcel of their paper, and then they will include your name and all the particulars about your research publication in their paper, then you will get one citation. So that's what we call citation. Fine. So what is citation? A citation is nothing but the formal method of acknowledging the use of creators' work. You refer to your previous researchers, you take the content from them, maybe the methodology, maybe the introduction, maybe the findings, maybe the conclusion, maybe suggestions, maybe the methodology, maybe the technique what they followed. So you take something from them and you're using it and you are giving a formal way of thanking them. That is what we call you are giving a citation to that particular article. Is it fine? So that's all about what a citation is. The question comes here. So why should we place citation in our research paper? Why should we cite others? It's very simple. See, you are taking the content from others. It is not your content. So you have to give credit to the original author, the author who has originally given that particular content. Fine. And secondly, when you are writing a research paper, you need to get the comments, you need to get ideas of others so that you will be able to validate your arguments, your comments, your points of view. See, instead of simply telling that I have found this, I have found that, you should tell that not only I, even Ramasamy has found the same thing. Even Kandasamy has found the same thing. Even Hema Madam has found the same thing. So you are trying to build a kind of confidence into the minds of your readers on the validity of your research findings. And thirdly, if you want to get escaped from the menace of plagiarism, then you have to cite all the resources, whatever you have used for your research purpose. And the most importantly, when you are citing a paper in your research work, your followers, if any other reader wants to read the same reference, it's very easy for them. They'll go to the reference, they'll get all the particulars like name of the author, year of publication, name of the article, title of the journal, volume number, issue number, page number. See, all these particulars will be available in the reference section. So if anybody else is reading your paper and the references, they will be able to locate that particular reference and they will be able to read the entire article. So because of all these reasons, you have to cite a resource whenever you are using others' content as a part and parcel of your research work. Fine. So what are the problems in citations? Sometimes we get a lot of self-citations. That means when you're writing a research paper, as a reference, as a citation, you will cite your own paper. You might have done a research paper a couple of months before. Maybe on the same broader area, you are trying to publish another paper. So you will naturally cite your previous paper. So self-citations. And sometimes people are simply adding some references without actually using them. For example, maybe your guide may say that, see, whenever you write a paper, you include my paper citation. You refer to my paper in your paper. One thing. And sometimes when you are publishing a paper in a particular journal, that particular journal publisher or that particular editor may say that, see, if you want to publish your paper in our journal, you should include at least few articles published in our research journal in your paper as a reference. Then only we will accept your paper. So that kind of reason. Or your friend may request you, hey, kindly you include my paper so that I will do citation. So maybe to fulfill your friend's request, you may add a paper. Sometimes it's a kind of mutual citation. So you and your friend both are doing a research in similar field. So whenever you are publishing a paper, you will cite his paper. And whenever he publishes a paper, he will cite your paper. So that kind of mutual citations. So though these are the limitations we have citation, as on today, we don't have any other mechanism except citations to measure the quality of research publications. Fine. Okay, you can ask a question. Sir, I asked, you told that citation is a must. Fine. You published 10 papers and you want to know, sir, whether I want to check whether all my 10 papers are cited by others, whether my 10 papers got any citation or not. If at all they got citations, how many citations are received by my papers? And who has cited my paper? And when they are cited? Which journal has cited my paper? So you want to know how many citations you have received for your publications. Fine. How to find out? See, a couple of centuries before, it was very difficult for us. We had only printed materials, printed journals, printed books. It was very difficult for us to get access to all the books and printed journals. And apart from that, even if somebody is making use of your research paper, they will not write to us. They will not ask your permission. They will just like that, they will make use of your research paper even without informing you, even without getting your consent from you. So it was difficult for us to get to know how many citations are received by my papers. But nowadays, it is somewhat easy. Though it's not very easy, it's somewhat easy because nowadays we are living in the world of information technological era, wherein we get a lot of e-resources, digital resources, online resources. Nowadays, a lot of books, conference proceedings, journal papers, and a lot of things are available online. So thanks to various search engines like Google Scholar, Microsoft Academic, Base search engine, or the so-called open access resources, maybe something like Paperity, something called Ethos, something called Doge or Dobe, or institutional repositories of many institutions, or preprint repositories like Paperity, or even paid e-resources. See, you as an institution, if you are so rich, you can purchase a good number of e-books and e-journals. And some institutions, they go for consortium and they get lot of materials accessing. For example, if you're Arts and Science College Library, you can get 6,100 plus full text journals and 31 lakhs ebooks if you just become a member of Endless Consortium. So by all these ways, now our accessibility to more number of resources has become possible, and that is how now we are somewhat be able to get to understand how many citations I have received for my papers. Fine. So how to find out? We have got a lot of citation indices. So what is citation index? It is the index which tells you what are the various papers cited by various others. That means what are the latest papers that are citing the old papers. So they create a kind of index for all the research papers and the papers which are cited by them. So that's what they call a citation index. To be more precise, it is Eugene Garfield who introduced the first citation index in 1960s, and that became SCI, Science Citation Index. And later on, they developed the Social Science Citation Index. Then they developed the Arts and Humanities Citation Index. And of late, in 1997, there is a publisher, a public search engine, an online digital library called CiteSeed. They introduced the world's first automated citation indexing. So we have got a good number of citation index services. For example, we have Web of Science, Scopus, CiteSeedX, Indian Citation Index, Google Scholar, and Dimensions. So these are the few databases, few services from where you'll be able to know how many papers are citing your papers, or how many of your papers are cited by which are the papers. You'll be able to get the citation information. First, let me talk about and you need to pay money, subscribe, then you'll be able to access this Web of Science database. Previously, it was run by Thomson Reuters. So now it is being managed by Clarivate Analytics. Fine. The homepage of Web of Science database. And you can see the collection, what collections and what databases are available in Web of Science. So Web of Science is a collection of a good number of databases. For example, we have something called Web of Science Core Collection, and you've got many other databases which are all the part and parcel of Web of Science collection. So Web of Science can be classified under two groups. One can be called as the Web of Science platform, which covers all the resources, and a selected list of collections termed as Web of Science Core Collection. In many cases, the universities over subscribing, they will subscribe to this Web of Science Core Collection, not the entire platform. Fine. So Web of Science Core Collection, it is from Clarivate Analytics. And here, you will be able to access more than 21,000 peer-reviewed and high-quality scholarly journals in 250 disciplines. And apart from that, they cover 8 million conference papers and 1.1 lakh editorially selected books with a total of 76 million records. And all these are the citation databases which are available as a part and parcel of Web of Science Core Collection. Science Citation Index Expanded, Social Sciences Citation Index, Arts and Humanities Citation Index, Conference Proceedings Citation Index, Book Citation Index, and Emerging Sources Citation Index. Fine. See, all these databases, subdivisions of Web of Science Core Collection, they provide you citation information. And as far as science, they cover from 1900 to till date. Social science also from 1900 onwards. Arts and Humanities 1975 to till date. Conference Proceedings 1990 to till date. Books 2005 to till date. Emerging Sources 2005 to till date. Fine. And apart from that, they cover 1.6 billion references, and each and every cited reference is indexed. And what are the subjects on which Web of Science covers its journals. They are from many different subjects, including life sciences, biomedical sciences, engineering, social sciences, and arts and humanities. So that's about Web of Science core collection. But if you take the entire Web of Science as a platform, they give access to more than 34,500 journals. Please understand, Web of Science will not give you full text articles. It is only a bibliographical and citation database. If you go to Web of Science, you will be able to get only abstract level information along with citation information only when a particular resource is available in the open access platform, in a free platform, then you'll be able to download the full text. Otherwise, you can see only the bibliographical details. Fine. So they have more than 166 million records with 43 million patents, 8.9 million data sets, and 1.8 billion references. And these are the various databases and indices which are made and available as a part of Web of Science platform. Many are there. Fine. And apart from the subscribed content, Web of Science provides access to 12 million open access materials. That means these 12 million articles, procedures, proceedings, data sets available free of cost, and they're all either gold or green or bronze level free resources. So what do you mean by that? If a particular resource is gold access, it means that the author will pay the money to the publishers and the publisher will make the content available free of cost to everybody. That is gold access. What is green access? See, if you are writing a paper, your rough paper, your preprint or even your postprint can be stored in your institutional repository. That is called as self-archiving. So you are archiving, you are storing your own paper for others to make use of it. That is called a green access. And what is bronze access? Some publishers, they make the contents available online. That's it. You can just go to the particular publisher's website. You can read the article. You cannot download and you cannot use it for some commercial purposes. So that is bronze access. Fine. As far as Science Citation Index Expanded is concerned, they cover 9,200 journals in 178 scientific disciplines and they have 53 million records, of which 8.1 million are free resources. And Social Sciences Citation Index, they give a coverage of around 3,400 journals in 58 social science disciplines and they have around 9.37 million records, of which around 6,000 are open access materials. In case of Arts and Humanities Citation Index, they cover 1,800 journals in 28 arts and humanities disciplines and they cover 4.9 million records, of which 117,000 records are available in the open access mode. As far as Book Citation Index, they cover around 1.1 lakhs of edited books. And with regard to Conference Proceeding Citation Index, they cover around 2.05 lakhs of conference proceedings. And very interestingly, there is something called Emerging Sources Citation Index, which was launched by the Web of Science people in 2015. So here, they provide access to 7,800 journals in 254 disciplines with more than 3 million records. See, once a particular journal is found to be good, that will be included in Emerging Sources Citation Index. They will check the performance of this journal. If the particular journal is continuously doing better, then that particular journal will be taken into either science or social science or arts and humanities. Till then, that will be available in Emerging Sources Citation Index. Fine. So that's about Web of Science. Let's come to second one, Scopus. This also a commercial database being offered by Elsevier, a very, very leading publisher, Elsevier, which was launched in 2004. And they have more than 77.8 million core records, and they're adding 3 million new records every year. And what is the coverage of Scopus? That's on January 2020. They provide access to around 25,100 titles, and they provide access to 9.8 million conference papers, and they provide access to 2.1 lakhs of books and 5,500 articles in press books. So these are the components of Scopus database. And please remember, Scopus is also a bibliographical and citation database unless otherwise a particular article is available in the free access mode. You will be able to access only the abstract level information. What's the title? Who are the authors? What is the abstract? What are the keywords? And what are citations? Only these particulars will be able to be accessed by you. And apart from that, they cover 77.8 million records, of which 71.2 million records are from 1970 onwards, and 6.6 million records are before 1970. And as far as patents are concerned, they cover 44 million patent records from 5 different patent offices. You can see a graph here. Scopus, more than 5,000 plus publishers, more than 25,100 active serials, 2.1 lakh books, 77 million items, 1.7 billion cited references with 70,000 institutional profiles, along with 16 million author profiles. And what about subject coverage? As far as subjects are concerned, Scopus gives you access to around 14,000 plus titles in health sciences, 7,200 plus titles in life sciences, 13,000 plus titles in physical sciences, and 12,000 plus titles in social sciences. Fine. So these two are the commercially available citation databases. What about the freely available resources? We have CiteSeed. As I told you, it is a public search engine and a digital library, which has got around 7.5 lakhs of documents on computer science and information science. Fine. And it was developed long back in 1997. Now, CiteSeed has been changed as CiteSeed X. For example, you just go to Google and type CiteSeed, and this is a home page of CiteSeed. I just type the title called Cell Biology. So all the resources available on cell biology will be displayed. And you can see here, just below each and every article, they say abstract, then cited by. So you'll come to know that this particular article is cited by 612 persons. You can click on a single article. You can see here, cited by, cited by, cited by. And when you click a single article, you will see citation 612. And if you give a click on the 612, you will not believe all the 600 citations will appear. So all the 600 papers that cited this particular paper will be listed. You can have a look at all those citations. And if you want, you can download. And if you want, you can share this information with your friends. And when you're trying for an author, for example, I type Venkat. So there are many Venkats. In that case, what you can do is that just below search, there is something called advanced search. You click on advanced search and you can find out author's name, affiliation, which institution the author belongs to, publication venue, keywords. So by making use of all these filters, you'll be able to exactly find out what is the author you are looking for. Fine. That's about CiteSeed. Please try. And the next free citation database is Indian Citation Index, an initiative which was launched in 2009. And it is a bibliographical database which has got only abstracts and citations. Fine. And as on today, they cover the publications from 2004 onwards, and they cover more than 1,000 journals published in India in various fields like science, technology, medicine, social sciences, arts and humanities, all are included. And it's being developed by the Knowledge Foundation, a registered society joining hands with Diva Enterprises. Fine. Just go to Google and type IndianCitationIndex.com. You land here. This is a home page of Indian Citation Index. For example, you can see here publications. This particular database covers 1,289 journals. They cover 8 lakhs articles, and they cover around 1.5 crores of references. And you can search for a particular title. You can search for a particular institution. You can search for a particular journal. You can try to find out the research output of these institutions. This is the latest update. As on July 8th, they are providing abstract level, citation level data for about 1,300 journals. For example, I just typed like Ramasamy. I got around 4,416 results. So all the results are appearing here. Can here time cited. So how many times this particular article is cited by others. So you'll get a citation details. If you click citation analysis, you'll get this screen. You can understand here results found. That means out of 416 papers, 323 papers were cited, and I got around 117 citations. So this kind of citation information can be obtained for individuals. For example, if I click on a particular individual, I can easily find out, see papers published by Ramasamy between 2008 and 17. What are the papers and how many citations he received for this particular paper in 2008, 2009, 2010, and totally as on today, how many citations are received by this particular article written by Ramasamy. So that kind of citation information can be obtained using Indian Citation Index. Not only for individuals, even if you want to get citation particulars about institutions, here there's something called Institution Analyzer. You click on Institution Analyzer and search for a particular organization. You'll get all the publications, around 464 Madurai Kamaraj University publications are available. You click on this 464, all the 464 items will be listed along with the citation information. You can find out. Fine. Even you can look for the citation information of a particular journal. You click on Journal Analyzer. You click the major topic. For example, I click Library and Information Science. It says that around 22 journals are there for library science. They give you a list of all the journals along with, for example, you take one journal, Annals of Library and Information Studies, total articles published, and total citations received by this particular journal. So that way you can find out. And if you want to find out the individual particulars, you can click on the journal. For example, I click on a journal, you can find out. Apart from that, even you can go and search for cited references. So you know very well that at the end of every research paper, list of references will be there. Now, in Indian Citation Index, you can conduct a search on all those cited references. Maybe by cited author, or cited work, or cited year, you can go and refer and find out. It's very, very easy here. And if you click a particular journal, for example, I just clicked one journal, Indian Journal of Pharmaceutical Sciences. Here they will tell you an article written by Reddy MS, published in this particular journal, received 61 citations. So that way, even you can go and find out the citations received by an individual, by a particular journal, or a particular institution in Indian Citation Index. So it is free. One of the things is they provide you only trial access. You have to go and register yourself as a member. They'll provide you 1 month trial access. You can make use of Indian Citation Index. After 1 month, that registration will be closed. If you want again making use of some other email ID, once again you have to go to register. So that is the practice of Indian Citation Index. Next comes a very popular Google Scholar. Yeah, scholarly search engine, a product of Google, wherein they provide you free access to all the full text of scholarly literature available online across the disciplines. The service, which was launched in 2004, is very popular, and they provide access to not only journal articles, but also technical reports, theses, books, and selected web pages, which are very, very scholarly. Fine. And if you want no citations, you can go to Google Scholar. You can create a profile and you can find out how many citations you have received for your research papers. You go to Google Scholar, for example. I typed a keyword called digital library, and all the articles are listed. You can see here. Under every article, they give you citation information. Cited by 708, cited by 563. If you click this, all the 708 papers, research papers, which cited your paper will be listed. Fine. And if you want to get the results only from 2013, only from 16, only from 17, even you can have a custom range also in Google Scholar. And Google Scholar gives you one more additional option. After getting the results, if you give a click on this double quote, you will get a style. In which particular reference style you have to prepare the reference for this particular journal, either an APA or MLE or Chicago or Harvard, Vancouver. You can copy this. Fine. And Google Scholar, there is something called advanced search. You can go to advanced search and you can look for exact author, exact publisher, exact years. So these kinds of filters can be used. And even you can decide, once you get citations, these citations can be exported to many different formats, maybe in BibTeX or EndNote or RefWorks. I just looked for a particular author, K. Ramasamy, librarian. You can see all his articles along with citations. Fine. And next one is Dimensions. So Dimensions is a free database as on now. You just go to dimensions.ai. You'll get this website. You click on access for free and you can try for all these resources. So they provide access to 110 million publications, 40 million patents, 5.3 million grants, 1.5 million data sets. They provide you. And you have to click on Dimensions free version because others are paid versions. You can click on this Dimensions free version. For example, you can see here, so they have abstract level information for 11.12 crores of publications. Okay. For example, I typed something like cloud computing. I got around 7 lakhs plus publications on cloud computing. Okay. So what I do is that I just look for the individual journal articles. You can see here, under every article, they tell you how many citations are received by this particular journal. 18K, 14K. That means around 18,000 citations for this one particular resource. Okay. And if you give a click on that, they tell you this particular article has received 14,000 total citations, 6.6 thousand recent citations, and some other metrics also. And if you give a click on this 14K, you'll be landing at a separate place where you can see all those 14,000 items. Okay, fine. All the 14,000 citations will be listed here. Then comes just near to citations, there is another option called Altmetrics. What is Altmetrics? It is article level metrics. So how many people not only have cited, some people might have downloaded your paper, they might have referred your paper, they might have given a blog posting, they might have given an interview and they told you about your paper, they might have mentioned it in their Twitter page. So all those things are taken into consideration and Altmetrics score. See, blogged by 6 people, referenced in 7 policy resources, tweeted by 4, mentioned in 1 thread, and 4,945 readers in Mendeley. So that kind of social media data usage you'll be getting from this Altmetrics score. You click on this, you will get a place where you'll get to understand what are the various metrics you have got for your Altmetrics score. How many tutors, from which country these tutors have come, from which educational institutions, what kind of institutions you got tutors. So all those things you'll be able to see here. Not only that, if you look for a particular author, for example, I typed for one author called Ivan Chipulkar. I get the results. You click on this view profile and you'll be able to see what are the total publications, total citations received by this particular author. So he received 1,339 citations for his 6,000 publications. If you come down, you know about his research interest, his experience, his co-authors, and all these publications, all the 5,957 publications, along with citations for each and every publication. Fine. And apart from these databases, and here are few other databases that provide you a very little bit amount of citation databases, citation information. For example, notably I've got PubMed. So PubMed is a database which is exclusively meant for biotechnology, biochemistry, medical, nursing, pharmaceutical people. For example, I here typed on lung cancer. I got the results. You click on any particular journal article, you get your particular page. There you can, there's an option called cited by. If you click the cited by, it says that this particular article is cited by 40 other articles. So you can see the list of citations. Fine. And there is something called SSRN, Social Sciences Research Network. You can become a member of this SSRN, and they cover all the subjects: social sciences, humanities, health sciences, physical sciences, life sciences, and applied sciences. And they give you full text around 8 lakhs, and abstract around 9 lakhs. And they provide you once you become a member and once you upload your paper. For example, I have enrolled as a member of SSRN. I can upload all my research papers. And if you're a member, they will tell you whenever your paper is cited by somebody, you'll get a message that so-and-so has cited your paper. Okay. For example, I just typed like poverty to get the articles on poverty. So around 15,000 articles are listed. If you give a click on a particular article, it tells you that this particular article has got 11 citations. If you give a click on that, that tells you what are the 11 people, those who have cited your papers. Fine. Apart from that, they give you altmetrics from a service called Plemex Metrics. So how many abstract views, how many downloads, how many readers, and how many Mendeley users, how many shares, how many commands, how many tweets. Fine. So this is about citation databases. What is citation? See, when you are making use of others' paper, you are thanking him, you are citing him. So that paper gets one citation. So citation, as on today, is only measured for evaluating the worthiness of an individual, institution, or a journal, or a country. So where can I get to know the citations? There are paid services like Web of Science Scopus, and there are freely available services, something like Google Scholar, Indian Citation Index, Dimensions. From all these resources, you'll be able to find out what is my citation, how many of my papers are cited, and how many times they are cited. Fine. So citation database is clear to you. Now, so once you come to understand the number of citations you have received, what are you going to do with all the citations? See, for example, your son has got a good number of marks in 10th board exam. So what do you do once you get the marks? You total the marks and you find out the total. You find out the average. You compare your son's mark with the neighbors, with the relatives, with your schoolmate, others, and you are trying to find out some judgments. In the same way, so once you publish papers, you know how many papers you published, and you see how many citations you received. Then what are you going to do with those citations to measure the quality of an individual or research impact of a journal? What are the various metrics available for us? So basically, we have two different kinds of metrics. One is author metrics, the quality indicators for judging the quality of research publications contributed by individuals. Fine. If you're an individual, you can make use of authors. And what about the journal metrics? The journal metrics help you to find out how good, how impactful, how deserving a journal is. So that using that particular measure, you will be able to identify whether you can publish a paper in that particular journal or not, whether it is worth publishing or not. So these are two different kinds of metrics I'm going to talk about. One is author metrics. Though we have got many number of metrics, I would like to confine my presentation only to three metric indicators: Hutch index, I-10 index, and the G index. Fine. What is Hutch index? An index which was suggested by George E. Hirsch. Actually, he used this Hutch index to measure the relative quality of scientists. But now, not only to the individuals, Hutch index can be calculated for individuals, for the departments, for the colleges and universities, for the countries, for the journals. You can create Hutch index. You can calculate Hutch index. Fine. How do they calculate Hutch index? So you need to know two things. One is how many papers are published by an individual, actual scientific productivity, and how many citations he received for his publications. See, if you know these two things, you'll be able to find out the Hutch index of an individual, which is being asked in NAC or NF ranking or any other ranking, even APA score. They are asking you what is your Hutch index. Fine. So what is Hutch index? For example, if you say that your Hutch index is 50, it means that out of your publications, these 50 papers have received at least 50 citations. Your 50 papers have received at least 50 citations, then your Hutch index is 50. Fine, good. Then comes G index. G index is another index. See, H index has got some limitations. For example, if you have published one paper, your H index is 1 if you have got one citation. Okay. If you publish only one paper, it has got 1 crore. It has got 1 crore citations. Then also your H index is only 1. You've got 2 publications, and first publication 1 crore. Second publication has got 2 citations. Then your H index is 2 because your 2 papers have got at least 2 citations. Then if you want to have a H index of 3, then you should have 3 papers, and all the 3 papers should be cited 3 times each. Then your H index becomes 3. So it is very tedious for an individual to score high H index in a short period of time. So what Lee Yegge suggested in 2006 was G index, where they are talking about evaluating the worthiness of a particular individual's research productivity. They are going to make use of distributions of citations. That is, G index is the largest number such that top G articles receive at least G square citations. For example, if your G index is 10, it means that 10 square, that is 100. That is, all the citations received by these 10 papers should be at least 100. Then you can say that my G index is 10. If your G index is 5, it means that 5 into 5, 25. All the 5 papers collectively, they should have got around 25 citations. If it is so, then your G index is 5. So this way you can go for H index and the G index. You can see a table here as an illustration. For example, I published 20 papers and I got citations for all 20 papers. How to calculate H index and G index? So what I need to do is that I need to arrange all my research papers in the decreasing order of citations. The article with the highest citations, 47, is given first rank. The article with the 42 citations, second rank. That way, in the decreasing order of citations, you have to list all the 20 research papers. And you have to see here your ranking, number of citations. When both are same, when your ranking and total citation is same, and that is your H index. That means if your H index is 13, it means that you have 13 papers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13. All these 13 papers have received at least 13 citations. 13 papers have received at least 13 citations. So your H index is 13. Why not 14? Because your 14 citations, your 14 papers have not received 14 citations each. Your 14 papers have not received 14 citations. So your H index is not 14. Your H index is only 13. What about G index? Here, I have to square. My first article 1 into 1, 1, 2 into 2, 4. I have to find out the square of my articles. And I have to find out the cumulative citation. See 47, first article. And second article 42, 47 plus 42, 89. 89 plus 37, 126. So I find out the cumulative citations received by my papers. So I have to see whether these two are same. The squared value and the total citation, whether these two are same. For example, if my G index is 20, it means that all these 20 papers should have received a minimum of 20 into 20, 400 citation. If my 20 papers have received altogether 400 citations, my G index is 20. But here my 19 papers, 19 into 19, 361. See, these 19 papers should have received altogether a minimum of 361 citations. I have received now 381. So I can say that my G index is 19. I think it's clear. G index and H index. Fine. Here you can see what is the H index score of an individual from Scopus, from Web of Science, and from Google Scholar. Fine. And apart from this, there is something called the I10 index. It is being given by Google Scholar. So it's very simple. I10 index means that how many of your research papers have got at least 10 citations. the research papers, those who have received 10 and more citations. For example, you published 5 papers, of which one paper has got 14 citations. Then your item index is 1. Fine. Yes. For example, let me go to Web of Science. I click on a particular author. You can see the Hutch index of that particular author. And apart from that, they tell you all his papers and how many citations are received by each and every one of his papers. For example, his first paper received 11 citations, second paper 7 citations, the third paper 3 citations, fourth paper 3 citations. That means his third paper has received 3 citations. That means that 3 of his papers have received at least 3 citations. So his Hutch index is 3. But remember, his fourth paper has not received 4 citations. So his Hutch index is only 3. Understand? Scopus is free in the sense there is a website called Scopus Preview. Please go to Google and type Scopus Preview. You will land at this particular place. Click on author search. Type the name of the author. You'll get the result. For example, I look for an author starting with Ram. All the authors' names starting with Ram is listed. I want to see this particular author. Okay, Ramdas Xavier. What about his Hutch index? He has published 330 documents and he received a Hutch index of 39. You click on this particular author, you will come to the detailed profile of the author. You'll come to understand his Hutch index is 39. This Scopus Preview is free. Just go to Google, type Scopus Preview, search for any author and try to find out his Hutch index. Fine. Then what about Google Scholar? So if you create a profile in Google Scholar, you'll be able to find out how many citations are received by a particular individual, what about his Hutch index, and what about his item index. For example, in Holy Cross College, Nagargoil, one Shiba Daniel madam is there. I just looked at her Google Scholar profile. Madam got around 43 citations and madam's Hutch index is 4 and item index is 1. You can see here, madam's first article received, not the first article, the highest citation received article. One article received 25 citations and this is only one article which has received more than 10 citations. So madam's I-10 index is 1. And what about Hutch index of 4? You can see here, I arranged all the research papers of Daniel madam, the decreasing order of number of citations. 25 citations, 5 citations, 4 citations, the decreasing order. Now, first article, second one, third one, fourth one. 4 articles, 4 citations. That means that at least 4 articles are cited 4 times each. So madam's Hutch index is 4. Fifth article is cited by only one person. When fifth article gets 5 citations, fourth article gets 5 citations, third article gets 5 citations, madam's Hutch index will become 5. Till then, it is 4. Fine. And this about my Hutch index and my item index. It shows you my citations, my Hutch index, and my item index. Then, how to calculate G index? So, G index is not given automatically by Google Scholar. You have to calculate G index by yourself. I told you, for example, I have arranged all the articles in the decreasing order of citations received. You have to find out the cumulative citations received. First article 11, first 2 articles 21 citations, first 3 articles 28 citations. You have to find the total. First 6 articles got 42 citations. 6 articles, 6 into 6, 36. 6 articles should have received at least 36 citations altogether. Then my G index should be 6. If I add the citations received by 7 articles, only 44 are there. If 7 into 7, 49. If I have received 49 citations for my first 7 articles, my G index would have become 7. But now here, these 6 articles have received only 42 citations. My G index is 6. So this way, you can calculate your Hutch index, G index, and item index. Fine. And let me move on to the very important aspect called journal metrics. How to measure the quality of a particular journal. In these days, the academicians and funding bodies, they ask you to publish your journals, publish your research papers in journals which are having a high impact. How to find out the impactfulness or impact of the chosen journals? What are the various metrics that we have with us to measure the quality of the journals? For example, we have 2-year impact factor, 5-year impact factor, H index for journals, site score, SCImago journal rank, Eigen factor, and immediacy index. So these are the few matrices which can be used by you to measure the quality of the journal. For example, let us see them one by one. What is the impact factor? It is a concept which was invented by Eugene Garfield, the founder of ISI, Institute of Scientific Information, which is now Web of Science. He has derived this particular metric long back in 1970s, 80s, called the impact factor, IF. It means it talks about what is the average number of citations received by papers of a particular journal in the recent years. That is what impact factor is all about. What is the average number of citations your journals have received recently? Okay, so why do we calculate impact factor? It is, I told you, it was devised by Eugene Garfield. And where do you get this impact factor? Clarivate Analytics, the people, those who are running Web of Science now, they publish a report called JCR, Journal Citation Reports, every year. For example, now they have published in 2020, they published JCR, from where you will be able to find out impact factor of journals for the year 2019. So 2019 impact factor can be seen in JCR 2020. Fine. And why do we need impact factor? If you want to measure the worth of a journal, so for example, 20 journals are published in library science. So I want to find out which is the most influential journal, which journal is having more impact factor. That means if I publish my paper in this particular journal, my article also will get more citations. Or when you want to, if a librarian wants to decide whether to buy this or not, so you can decide based on the impact factor. Nowadays, lot of funding agencies also insist on, if they are funding you, they'll ask you to publish the papers only in the journals which are having high impact factor. So dear friends, please understand, impact factor is given by Clarivate Analytics for only those journals which are indexed in Web of Science. Impact factor is not available for any other journal. So if any particular publisher says that the impact factor of our journal is 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, 15, kindly don't get cheated. Only Clarivate Analytics is authorized to give impact factor only for the journals indexed in Web of Science, and impact factor is not there for any other journal. Please understand this. How to calculate impact factor is very simple. If you want to calculate impact factor for 2013, then you have to find out how many papers, how many articles were published in a particular journal in 2011 and 2012. That will be the denominator. What about the numerator? In the numerator, you have to find out the papers published in 2012 and 2013. For example, 2010, 10 papers. 2012, 10 papers. Totally 20 papers are published. So obviously the denominator will be 20. What about the numerator? See how many citations were received by these 20 papers in 2013. In the year 2013, how many citations were received by the journals published in 2011 and 12? You find out that gives the average number of citations, and that is the impact factor. For example, I want to calculate impact factor for a journal called X for the year 2015. When can I calculate? Only in 2016, you can calculate the impact factor of 2015. How I'm going to calculate? I need to find out how many papers were published by this particular journal in 2013 and 14, previous 2 years. For example, this journal has published 359 papers. So that becomes the denominator. Good. And what about the citations received by these 359 papers in 2015? In the year 2015, how many citations were received by these 359 articles? How many? 908. So that is what's the average? 2.52. That is the impact factor of this particular journal. I think it's clear. Now, apart from 2-year window, JCR, Journal Citation Report, even they give you 5-year impact factor for journals. Very same. There we have taken 2 years data. Here we take 5 years data. There's only one difference. Fine. Then comes site score. Site score is the impact factor given by Scopus database. If you're going to Scopus database, you won't get impact factor. Here, the impact factor is known as site score. How do they calculate? Same way. The difference is that in Scopus, they take last 3 years data. They don't take last 2 years data. They take last 3 years data. See how many papers were, hello? How many papers were published in the particular journal the last 3 years? That will be the denominator. And the numerator, they want to find out in the current year, how many citations were received by these many research papers. Fine. For example, if you are calculating the impact factor of 2015 for a journal, you can calculate it only in 2016. You have to find out how many papers were published in that particular journal in 14, 13, and 12. You add all and that becomes the denominator. What about the numerator? The paper published in 2012, 13, 14, how many citations they received in 2015? So that is the site score. This is given by Scopus database. Fine. So what is the difference? Impact factor takes 2 years data and site score takes 3-year data. Okay. In Scopus, we say it is a site score. In Web of Science, we say it is impact factor. Fine. Fine. So that's about how to rank a particular journal. But please understand, the citations may not have equal weightage. For example, you have done something very great. You have done a very great achievement. You are appreciated by your father, your mother, your brothers, your sisters, your neighbors, your street vendors, your street goers, next district person, your MP, your MLA, your collector, your minister, your chief minister, your prime minister. So all are appreciating you. Do you think that all the appreciations will be treated equally? Obviously not. You'll feel that the appreciation of prime appreciation, then chief minister, then ministers, then collector, then MP, MLA, then like that. The same way, what people felt that all the citations are not equal. In the case of impact factor, in the case of site score, we considered if you are getting 10 citations, you are getting 10 citations. Each citation will get just 1 mark, irrespective of the fact that which journal is citing your paper. So you got 10 citations. 1 citation may be from Nature. 1 citation may be from Cell. 1 citation may be from Current Science, the leading journals. 2 or 3 citations you might start from local newspapers, local journals. The journals which are not very popular. The journals which are not having any impact factor. Do you think that all the citations will carry equal weightage? Obviously not. So they want to give weightation to the citations. Whenever your article receives a citation, they will check which journal is citing your paper. The journal which is citing your paper is having a very high impact, then you will get more weightage for your citation. Maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 for your 1 citation. If you are getting a citation from a journal which is not at all having any impact factor, or maybe having a less impact factor, and accordingly the weightage will be reduced. So we are going to apply the same formula what we use for impact factor at site scale, but here in the numerator, instead of calculating the total citations, we are finding out the weighted citations received by the article. Okay, how do we calculate weighted citations? They are following Google page rank algorithm. That is the method used by the people to find out the weighted citation. Fine. So we have got two metrics which give weighted citations. One is Scimago journal rank. Madam? Hello? Madam, am I audible? Okay, thank you. So we have got two metrics like this. One is Scimago journal rank and another is Engine factor. Scimago journal rank is for Scopus publications, which is available freely on the website scimagojr.com, and they take last 3 years citations, excluding the self citations. Fine. And by using this SJR, you'll be able to understand how prestigious a particular journal is, how influential a journal is. For example, if you say that one particular journal has got a SJR of 1.5, it means that the research papers published in that particular journal the last 3 years have received on an average 1.5 times of weighted citations than all other journals. That means this particular journal is getting more number of weighted citations. This particular journal has got a lot of articles cited by other journals which are having high impact factor. So that kind of calculation is available called SJR. How to calculate? In the numerator, we have weighted citations received in a year divided by numerator, we have documents published in the journal the last 3 years. Let us assume that in a particular journal, the last 3 years, 400 papers are published. What about the weighted citations received by all the 400 research papers in the current year? Is 1000. So what is the SJR? 2.5. Good? Yes. Then comes immediacy index. What is this? For example, how immediately your research papers are being cited by others. For example, now you are doing research on COVID-19. It's a very, very hot, burning topic. If you are publishing a paper now, the very next day you'll get a citation for this article, if your article is of having a very recent findings. So immediacy index talks about calculation of index for the current year. For example, I want to calculate immediacy index of a journal for the year 2015. I need two things. In 2015, how many articles are published by that particular journal? 113. And how many citations are received by this 113 articles in 2015, the same year. So that gives me the immediacy index. Fine. You can see here, this is a JCR report, journal citation report published by Web of Science. It's not available free of cost. Only when you're having a subscription to Web of Science, you will be able to access JCR. You can see here, impact factor. This is a 2-year calculation. This is a 5-year impact factor. And here you can see the immediacy index. Good. Then comes Engine factor. For all Web of Science category, for the Scopus journals, we have got SJR. For the Web of Science journal, they have got enginefactor.org. Go to this particular website. You can get to understand what is the Engine factor score for all the journals. See, both are same. Both Scimago journal ranking and Engine factor are same because both are giving weightations to the citations what you receive from various journals. Okay, for example, in 2014, the Engine factor of Nature was 1.50. It means that Nature journal alone represents 1.5% of the total influence of the entire citation network. If you take the entire Web of Science, 1.5% of the entire citation network is represented by this single journal called Nature. So you'll be able to find out how important a particular journal has got in the entire citation network. So that you can find out. Just go to, this is a beautiful website called MJL, masterjournallist.clarivate.com. This is free. Though this is from Web of Science, they give this particular site free of cost. You can go to MJL, you can type the name of the journal, or you can type the subject. I just typed history, chemistry. All the chemistry journals have appeared. You click on any one journal. Okay, this is a journal called ACS Medicinal Chemistry Letters. If you come down, you can see the impact factor of this particular journal. It's free. You come to MJL, you can find out the impact factor of all the journals indexed in Web of Science free. But please remember, only for 2018, impact factor is given. For 2019, it's not given. It's not free, no. You have to go to JCR. You have to look for 2019 impact factor, which is not free. But 2018 impact factor is available now in MJL free. Good. Then comes Scopus. It's free. Scopus is not free. Scopus preview is free. You can come to this particular website called scopus.com preview. Here, click on sources. Click on sources. Then here you can select. For example, I want the impact factor of the journals published in a particular subject. You click on subject area. Then you click enter subject. You choose any subject. For example, I want to get some topmost journals in the field forestry. You click on forestry. You can see here 191 journals are available on forestry in Scopus. All the 191 journals are listed. The highest site score, its impact factor, is for CGB Bioenergy Open Access Journal, which has got a site score of 10.7. How do they calculate? Very simple. Total citations received for 3 years, 396 site, divided by total documents published in those 3 years, 370, you get 10.7. So you'll be able to find out the site scale. If you click on that individual journal, you'll be taken to a place where you'll get all the information about the journal, Scopus coverage, publisher, ISSN, subject area. On the right side, you can get both the site score and SJR. SciMago journal ranking. It is free. Just go to Scopus preview, type any subject, get the journals, and you can check for the impact factor site score of all these journals. Free. Then what about agent factor? Just go to agentfactor.org. It is free. Find journal. You can go and type any journal. I just typed Journal of Compu. All the journals starting with the Journal of Compu appeared. I selected one particular journal. You can see here the agent factor scores of all the selected journals. So agent factor score is available free. You can go to agentfactor.org. You can find out. Otherwise also, you can get agent factor score from JCR report. The JCR report, apart from impact factor and immediacy index, they also give you agent factor score. Fine. Otherwise, there is a separate website called SciMagoJR.com. It is free. Just go and click on journal ranking. You click on journal ranking. All the journals indexed in Scopus will be displayed with their SJR value. The journal with the highest SJR is CA, a cancer journal for clinicians, which has got 88.19 to SJR, H index of 156. If you click on this particular journal, you'll be taken to a place where you'll get all the information about this particular journal. 156 H index. It means that at least 156 papers published in this particular journal have received at least 156 citations each. That is H index of the journal. Suppose if you want to get SJR H index of a particular discipline journals, here you can do option, click the subject, click subject, and click the area. For example, I clicked engineering. I have selected mechanical engineering. I selected India. Let me see. These are the journals. There are 14 journals indexed in Scopus on mechanical engineering published in India. And this is a topmost journal with a H index of 12 and SJR of 0.336. It's free. Then comes Google Scholar. Even Google Scholar gives you a kind of ranking of journals. Go to Google Scholar, and here there's something called metrics. Click on metrics. If you click this 3 dots, you'll get a screen. Click on metrics. They have listed based on H5 index. What is this? H index is okay. What is H5 index? It's very simple. Based on the last 5 years publications and last 5 years citation, they calculate H5 index for all the journals. So these are the leading journals. Nature is the topmost journal with 376 H5 index, followed by the New England Journal of Medicine. And here, if you click on this particular downward arrow, you will get subcategories. For example, I clicked on this humanities and literature and arts. And these are the topmost journal, 20 journals in humanities, literature and arts. Again, I can click on subcategory. I clicked on feminism and women's studies. And these are the top 20 journals in feminism and women's studies. So even Google Scholar can be used to find out what are the most impactful journals available in my particular chosen research field. So far I have discussed about two important things. One is based on the number of publications and based on the citations, you have calculated, you understood how to calculate different number of metric measures, both for individuals and for journals. H index, G index, and item index for authors, impact factor, site score, SJR, and Eugene factor for journals. Fine. So once you have made use of all these things, you take content from others, you are using it in your research paper, you are publishing it, you're getting citations. The very, very most important thing is reference management. You should give proper citation, proper reference to whatever papers you are citing in your research paper. How to cite that? You need to follow some standard mechanisms for citing your papers. You should follow a particular Stein manual in preparing the required references for the sources what you have used as a part of your research work. See, we have got more than, you will not believe, we have more than 9,000 citation styles, reference management styles. The very popular ones are APA, American Psychological Association, Chicago style, and Modern Language Association style, Vancouver, Nature, IEEE. So many such styles are there. For example, if you take APA has got two parts, as I told you. One is textual citation, maybe in the place where you are making use of others' content, the same place you will write the name of the author without initial and year of publication. This is known as textual citation or in-text citation. At the end of the research paper, you prepare a list of all the research papers, whatever you have used for your research purpose. A separate page, hanging indentation, alphabetical order in APA style. The reference list goes this way. So you need to prepare both in-text citation and the list of references using any of the standard style manuals. Okay, and how to prepare these references? Is it very easy? There are many ways. One is, if you want to prepare a citation in APA, you buy a book on APA, read the entire APA book and prepare. Otherwise, you can prepare some online citation generators like CiteFast, Citation Machine, ZBeep, and cite this for me. Otherwise, you can make use of some open source, freely available softwares. These softwares can be downloaded in your desktop. You can save it in your desktop and you can generate in-text citation and list of references for any resource, whatever you consult. Okay, fine. For example, you have got EndNote. We have Zotero.org. Zotero, we have got Zotero for Mac, Windows, Linux. Fine. We have Quizzo.com. We have JobRef. We have Mendeley, very popular reference management software. And this is a Zotero connector, which you can download. Fine. So I will take around 10 more minutes and I would like to show you how a Zotero reference management works. Okay, fine. Let me go to the software. I think, is my software visible to you? Zotero software, madam? Madam, software screen is visible to you?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, thank you, thank you. See, Zotero is a very, very simple software. Just to go to Google, type Zotero for Windows. You will land on a page. You download software. Click, click, click. Single exe file. The software is ready. You double click the file. You will be landing at this particular place. And this is a working page of Zotero. Fine. It has got 3 columns. Madam? Okay, they've got three columns. First column talks about the folders. Whatever folders you have created, it shows you. Second column shows you whatever articles, whatever book chapters, whatever conference paper for which you have created the references. Those will be listed in the second column. The third column, the particulars about the references, what you have included will be displayed. You click this, all the particulars about this particular reference. You click this, all the particulars about this particular resource will be displayed. The title, author, publication, volume number, issue number, page number, all these will be listed. Fine. This is software. For example, I am working on a particular journal. I want to prepare an article for a journal. So what I'll do is that I'll go to file, I say new collection, I create new folder. For example, I click it something called training, the name of the folder. What I'm going to do is that I am going to collect all the references required for writing one research paper, and whatever references I am using to write that one paper, all the references I am going to include or incorporate into Zotero software. Okay, fine. Okay. Now, so you have got some printed journal materials, or you have downloaded some materials you're having. So what you can do is that you can go type the particulars manually. You can type it manually. For example, I go to file, I select new item. For example, I have taken something from a book. I select a book. Here you see, now the bibliographical elements, the content designators will appear. What you need to do is that you have to go and type. Title of the book, you have type. Maybe Theory of Library Science, name of the book. Who is the author? Click on author and type. Already some names are, let me select some names. Okay. This is the initial of the author. I select the initial. Fine, good. Then I'll select what is the edition. This is the second edition. Place of publication. This is published in Delhi. Fine. Who is the publisher? ABC Limited. What is the date? Year of publication 2019. So I have a book. I just went to Zotero and I clicked file, new item, file, new item. I selected book. This third box appears. I filled all the particulars. Good. Okay. Now I got one printed journal article. So I want to type the references for a journal article. So what I do is that I go to file, new item. I go to journal article. Here many items are there. Let me look for journal article. See, using Zotero, you can create reference for a journal article, book chapter, book, online interviews, or your newspaper article, or your Twitter, for your web page, for the album. For all these things, you can prepare reference. So now I am preparing. That means I have a journal article which I used for writing one research paper. Now I want to prepare reference for this particular journal article. So title, it's about library and its implications in Tamil. Don't remember the spelling mistake. The title. Then author. Who is the author? See, author is maybe Vaidyanathan. Okay. What is the publication? It is the Journal of Advance. What is the name of the journal? What is the volume number? 4. What is the issue number? 5. What are the pages? 12 to 37. Which year? 2018. So I entered the basic details about a journal in the third box. So now I have typed one information about the book and one information about the journal. So now I want to prepare in-text citation and a list of reference for both these items, what I used for my research work. Okay. So you click any one and then click Control A so that both will be selected. Now 2 items I have selected. Give a right click, say generate or create bibliography from item. That means I want to create in-text citation and a list of reference for these 2 research works. Click on create bibliography from items. And here you can select in which style manual you want to prepare. Whether you want APA 7th edition, you want Chicago, you want AC, many styles are there. Nature style, Vancouver style, IEEE or Harvard style elsewhere. For example, I selected American Psychological Association 7th edition, the latest one, 7th edition. It is asking you whether you want in-text citation whether you want in-text citation or you want list of reference. So first I want in-text citation. So I click citations. I click copy to clipboard and say OK. It means that the in-text citation for both these research papers are copied. Now they are available in the temporary memory of my computer. Let me go to a Word file. You go to a Word file, and what you can do is that Control V. See, just click Control V. If you click Control V, the in-text citation of both the research papers appear. Ramasamy 2019, Vaidyanathan 2018. This is an in-text citation. And if you want to create the entire reference, then here right click, create bibliography from items, and select, instead of citations, select bibliography and then say OK. Now it is copied. Let me go to Word file and click Control V. So you can see here, I have received both the list of reference. They're in the alphabetical order. First one is R, next one is V. I didn't tell the computer first name should come, then comma, then initial, then dot, year in bracket, then dot, title, then edition, dot. I didn't tell the computer anything. That is the beauty of the software. The software will be able to generate. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Madam, I'll take 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes. Madam, tell me, madam.
Hello, sir.
Now, madam, please tell me, madam. Madam, please tell me. I am able to listen to you. Hello?
Hello, sir. Will you please check your audio?
My audio, madam. 1 minute, madam.
1 minute. Yes, sir.
My audio is okay, madam.
Now it is okay, sir.
Okay. Madam,
thank you, sir.
whether you got this difficulty just now or long before?
No, just now, sir.
Okay, fine. So,
okay, thank you, sir.
So, whatever research papers for which you enter the details manually, right click and here select create bibliography from items. You select any one style you require. Then here choose bibliography and click copy to clipboard and select OK. Now the references for both the research papers are copied, now available in the computer memory. You can go to MS Word, okay, and click Control V. Now the reference is ready. You need not check anything. It is pakka 100% according to APA style. So you need not remember any style, either 1 author, 2 author, 3 author, 5 authors, or it is a web page, it's an interview, newspaper article, journal article, book chapter. You need not remember anything. Just come to Zotero, type the things, and you can generate references in all these styles. So if you're having a manual, a printed book or a printed journal, this way you can type it manually and get the data. Fine. For example, sir, already I have downloaded the references in some formats. Is it possible to import? Yes, it's very much possible. Go to File. There's an option called Import. Click on Import. You can import BibTeX file, RIS, Research Information System, RIS file, Zotero RDF file, or Mendeley file. See, if you have downloaded your list of references in any of these formats, those can be imported into Zotero. Then you can manage those all the references in Zotero. That is very much possible. Not only that, for example, you know the ISBN of a particular book. So what you can do is that you can search for that particular book from Zotero. For example, see, let me copy one ISBN number. For example, this is the ISBN number of a book which I would like to use for my research work, or what I used in my research work. What you can do is that, please come here. Here one option is there. See, add items by identifier. You click on that. You can search for ISBN number, digital object identifier, which is available for various journal articles, or PubMed ID, or Archive ID. Now I have one ISBN number. What I do is that I just paste that ISBN number. I click enter. You see now the book has come automatically. If you are online, Zotero will go to online. It will go to search for the book that has that particular ISBN, and that will bring all the particulars. You need to type anything. That is the beauty of Zotero. Okay, then for example, I have one DOI of an article. Okay, nowadays many leading journal publishers, they provide DOI, a permanent URL for your research paper. They provide. If you are having that DOI, you can come to Zotero, click on this option, and you paste that DOI here and press enter. So once you enter, Zotero will go to www. You see now the journal article has come. Revision of instruction to authors. I have added only 2 manually. Now I have added 2 things automatically. So if you know the ISBN number or DOI or even PubMed number or archive ID, you can easily go and retrieve this information from those websites. So not only that, see, I have got this particular article from online. If you come to this particular downward arrow, see, view PDF, view online. If you view PDF, you can read the PDF version of this entire file. If you click on view online, you can see this particular file online. Okay, so either manually you can type the particulars and get the references, or you can, if you know the ISBN number or DOI, you can download. Or if you already downloaded the data in some other formats like Mendeley or RIS or BibTeX, that can be imported. Fine, fine. Apart from this, here in Zotero, we got something called Word plugin. There is something called Word plugin is there. If you are using Word plugin, so let me show you first how to create reference for all the 4 items. I select any one, click Ctrl A, all the 4 are selected, give a right click, create bibliography from items, click it, choose the style, and I click the bibliography, copy to clipboard. I say OK. Let me go to the place where I want all my references should appear. And I click Ctrl V. You see, I got references for all items arranged in the alphabetical order according to APA 7th edition. This way you can use it. And there's something called MS Word plugin. You can install MS Word plugin. It's very easy. For example, here Zotero is there, MS Word plugin. You can click Add Edit Citation. Here a box comes here. You can choose a style, say OK. Okay, that means whatever items you have included in Zotero software, all those references can be searched simply from MS Word. You need not go to Zotero. Sitting in MS Word, you can search for all the items, whatever you typed in Zotero. For example, I look for Ramasamy, RAMASA. It gives you all the articles which have got Ramasamy in my Zotero software. For example, I want to include this, click it. Fine. I am searching for another author, VE, for example. All the articles having the author VE starts, click any one article. Okay. And this way you can find out. If you click on Add Edit Bibliography, okay, you click Enter, you can see here in-text citation already appeared. If you click Add Edit, even the entire bibliography will appear. That means that once you enter the particulars in Zotero software, if you have installed MS Word plugin, just from MS Word, you can search for the article and you can import the in-text citation and the list of references from Zotero software. So Zotero is a very, very easy to use software, only one exe file, wherein you will be able to generate both in-text citation and the list of references for all kinds of resources. So my dear friends, know about these citations, the freely available tools for citations. Make use of the resource content of others, but kindly cite all those resources properly in your research work. That's all from my point of view. And over to the organizers. So I take this opportunity to thank the organizers for having given me such a wonderful opportunity of meeting and talking to you. Over to the organizers, and if there are some questions from the audience, you can either ask questions on behalf of the audience, or you can ask the audience to ask the questions, madam.
Thank you, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, madam. Please, you can go ahead, madam.
Thank you for your informative session, sir. There is a query in the chat box. The
Yes,
impact factor of top popular journals are very less than the impact factor of ordinary journals. What is the reason, sir?
It depends on many factors, madam. So a journal's impact factor is based on many factors. First of all, what is subject field? See, if you are publishing a paper in COVID-19 journal, you get a lot of citations. If you're publishing a journal article in a literature, it takes years and years to get citations. So one thing is based on the field. Every field gets citations different levels, one thing. And secondly, where is your journals indexed? So you are publishing a paper in that particular journal. So you should find out where is it indexed. If that particular journal is indexed in Web of Science or Scopus, then you'll get a lot of citations. If you are publishing a paper in a journal which is not indexed in leading databases, you will get less citations. So it depends on many factors, madam.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Next question, madam.
What happens when our cited website deleted? There is a question, sir. What happens when our cited website deleted?
No, it happens. It happens. See, even there are some journals. You cite the journals. One fine morning, the vendors will close the shop and go. So you will never be able to access those journals. That is immaterial. So only thing is, what is very important is that whenever you cite a particular resource, at the time of your citing, that particular website should be active. That is why we are suggesting you to make use of softwares like Zotero. If you are making use of software like Zotero, if you are importing that particular website, what Zotero does is that Zotero takes a small snapshot of the home page of that particular website, and that website will be available forever in Zotero library. Even that website closes, collapse, or shut down, no problem. You can get the home page image from your Zotero software. That's very much possible in many softwares, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Next, madam.
I think that queries are over. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Now
Thank you so much.
participants can unmute your audio and you can share your feedback.
Even if a participant wants to ask a question directly, also you can ask, please.
Yes, sir.
Hello, good afternoon. I am F. Briska Renuga from Department of Zoology. Actually, I want to thank the management and the organizers for giving us such a wonderful session. Sir, your presentation was very excellent.
Thank you,
you have delivered a valuable information. So in this session only, we came to understand how to calculate G index, H index, I10 index, and so many kind of index, how to calculate it. This is necessary for the NAAC accreditation also. And
Yes,
here only we learned very new items. I don't know about others. I learned a new item, that is IGEN factor and SciMago journal ranking and immediacy index and all. I have learned through this seminar. And the Zotero software immediately I have installed in my computer, and it is also. Thank you, sir. It is very useful. Through this session, we learned a lot. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other participants?
Good afternoon, everyone. The sessions was very informative and wonderful. I have got new knowledge out of these two sessions. In the first session, I got motivation to read a lot. In the second session, sir have given a very clear citations. How to measure the quality of the journal, what is the impact factor, is talked about the number of citations, etc. Both the resource persons' presentations was very clear and informative. My sincere thanks goes to the resource persons and the organizers. Thank you, sister, and thank you, sir.
Madam, thank you, madam. Please introduce yourself, madam.
Myself, I am Jalaja from History Department.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Participants, any other feedback or queries?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam, please go ahead.
Hello. Vanakkam. கேக்குதா?
வணக்கம் மேம், கேக்குது.
ஜெயகலா மான்ஸ்டார் பாலிடெக்னிக் காலேஜ்ல லைப்ரரியன் ஒர்க் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன்.
சொல்லுங்க மேடம், சொல்லுங்க மேடம்.
ரொம்ப மகிழ்ச்சியா, ரொம்ப நல்ல பயனுள்ளதா இருந்துச்சு. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சத சொல்றேன். புத்தகம் வந்து எவ்வளவு முக்கியமானது என்பதை ரொம்ப அறிஞ்சு கொள்ள முடிஞ்சது. குவிந்திருக்கும் களிமண் தானாக குடமாக மாறாது, குயவன் அங்கு வர வேண்டும். மல்லிகை மலர்கள் தானாக மலர் மாலையாகாது, சரம் தொடுப்பவன் அங்கு வர வேண்டும். வீணையானது தானாக தான் விரும்பிய இசையை மீட்டாது, இசை வித்துவான் அங்க வர வேண்டும். மனிதன் தன் அறிவை தானாக விரிவாக்க இயலாகுது, புத்தகம் அங்கு வர வேண்டும். கல்வி எனும் சக்திதான் மனித அறிவை மாண்புடனே கடல் என விரிய செய்து வெளிப்படுத்தி மனித குலத்தினை வாழ செய்கிறது. நாம் பல ஆண்டு அனுபவத்தில் பெறுகின்ற அறிவை நல்ல சில பயனுள்ள புத்தகங்களை படிப்பதால் கூட பெற்றுவிட முடியும் என்பதை தெளிவாக அறிய முடிந்தது. அது மட்டுமல்ல, தினசரி 1 மணி நேரம் படித்தால் ஒரு வாரத்தில் ஒரு புத்தகத்தை படித்து முடித்து விடலாம். ஒரு வருடத்தில் 52 புத்தகங்களை முடித்து விடலாம். அதிலிருந்து பெறுகின்ற அறிவு எந்த துறையில் நீங்கள் பணியாற்றினாலும் உங்களை உயர்வடைய செய்வது உறுதி. நல்ல உணவு உடலை போஷிப்பது போல நல்ல புத்தகங்களை படிப்பது மனதை போஷிக்கிறது என்று கூறுகிறார் வெற்றி பெற சிந்தனைகள் என்ற புத்தகத்தை எழுதிய டாக்டர் வால்டர் டோயல் ஸ்டேபிள். இதன் மூலமாக இந்த முதல் செக்ஷன்ல உள்ளது மிக தெளிவாக அறிந்து கொள்ள முடிந்தது. புத்தகம் யார் யாருடைய வாழ்க்கையை மாற்றி போட்டது, யார் யாருக்கு எப்படியெல்லாம் பயன்பட்டது என்பதை தெளிவாக அறிந்து கொள்ள முடிந்தது. குழந்தைகள் புத்தகம் வாசிப்பதற்கு நாம் எப்படி உந்து சக்தியாக இருக்க வேண்டும். முதலில் பெற்றோர்கள் புத்தகங்களை வாசித்துக் கொண்டிருப்பதை பிள்ளைகள் பார்க்கும் போது அதை வைத்து பிள்ளைகள் நன்கு படிப்பார்கள் என்பதையும் கூட அறிந்து கொள்ள முடிந்தது. இது மேலும் டாக்டர் ராமசாமி சார் சொல்ல கருத்துக்கள் மிகவும் பயனுள்ளதாக இருந்தது. இங்க அந்த நூலகர்களுக்கு மட்டுமல்ல, அனைத்து ரிசர்ச் ஸ்காலருக்கும் கூட மிகவும் பயனுள்ளதாக இருந்தது. அதற்காக சாருக்கு ஸ்பெஷல் தேங்க்யூ சொல்றேன் சார். ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம் சார். சார் ஏற்கனவே நாங்க சாருக்கு கிளாஸ் நான் வந்திருக்கேன், அட்டெண்ட் பண்ணிருக்கேன். ரொம்ப யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருந்திருக்கு சார். தேங்க்யூ. பொதுவாக இன்னைக்கு என்னன்னா நூலகர் மட்டுமல்லாத அனைத்து துறை மக்களும் பயன்படும் வகையில் மிக அழகான தலைப்பில் நம்முடைய கல்லூரி காலிகிராஸ் கல்லூரியில இந்த நிகழ்ச்சி ஏற்பாடு பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. நிகழ்ச்சி ஏற்பாடு பண்ணிய கல்லூரி தாளாளர் சிஸ்டர் அவர்களுக்கும் முதல்வர் சிஸ்டர் அவர்களுக்கும் இன்னும் அதிகமாக நூலகர் சிஸ்டர் டாக்டர் சிஸ்டர் ஜான்சி அவர்களுக்கும் மனமார்ந்த நன்றியை சொல்லுகிறோம். இந்த முதல் புத்தகத்தை நாங்க நல்லா படிச்சு அது மட்டும் இல்லாம எங்களுக்கு நல்ல பயனுள்ளதாக இருந்து சொல்லி நன்றி செலுத்துகிறேன், நன்றி சொல்றேன். நன்றி சார். தேங்க்யூ. தேங்க்யூ.
தேங்க்யூ மேம். Thank you, ma'am. If there is no more feedbacks and queries, now I call upon Mrs. Prabha, our librarian, our library assistant, to propose vote of thanks.
Okay. Good afternoon, one and all. On behalf of Holy Cross College and the entire organizing team, I take this opportunity to extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all speakers for gracing your important work and sharing with us your findings and opinions today. A big thank you to Mr. Kumari Adavan for his efforts towards reading, the ladder to creativity and research. His speech has really motivated us to open doors to new knowledge in order to enlighten the minds through reading. I would like to mention our deep sense of appreciation for Dr. K. Ramasamy for his explanation of citation databases, performance metrics, and Jotiro Reference Manager. He has explained clearly in his own style the significance of citation analysis, which will be useful for a researcher while navigating the research work. I would like to thank our Secretary, Dr. Sister Gerardine Jayam, for her support and guidance. I would like to thank our Principal, Dr. Sister Annie Purpet Sophie, for her enthusiastic support and granting us the permission to conduct this webinar. A special thank to Dr. Sister Mary Johnsey for coordinating this webinar, which helps in awakening the desire and curiosity of young generations and sharpening the educational agenda. Next, I would like to place on record a sincere thanks to Ms. Aji Udaya for her technical work and guiding us by sparing her valuable time whenever we approached her. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to thank our entire team for the unity and remaining as a strong pillar for the smooth functioning of the webinar. Thank you, dear participants, for attending the webinar and making the webinar an interesting one by asking questions. Thank you, one and all. Stay safe, stay blessed.
Thank you for your sweet words, ma'am. Participants, you can find the feedback link in the chat box. Fill it carefully. There is no manual interpretation in the certificate generation. Certificate will be automatically provided to you on filling up the feedback link. If you find any queries, feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
வாயை மூடிட்டு இரு. என்ன நடக்குது தெரியாம கத்தாத.